Hey, what's up guys? Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. I've been doing up reviews on the new mini comics that come packaged with the MOTU Origins figures. It's great that we're getting these again. It's pretty much a practice that was started with the vintage He-Man figures in the 1980s, and now we're seeing them back in action again. Smaller in page count and definitely thinner, but at least we're getting them. So this one is titled Battle Armor Reborn. It's the mini comic that comes with the wave of Origins Deluxe figures, and it puts the main characters front and center in the action. This wave reintroduces the He-Man and Skeletor figures with the battle armor designs. And that's what the comic book sells to you. You see them locked in combat on the cover, and you just can't wait to find out what's going on. So let's get to it. The story starts off with King Randor and the Queen traveling through an open canyon area, and they make reference to the conclusion of some meeting that had just taken place. Must have been a really important meeting for both the King and Queen to be out together, so far away from the castle, and having to travel through what is alluded to as a somewhat dangerous valley. But this is all necessary for story setup, right? Now, one thing I noticed is that the coloring in this mini comic issue seems to have more of a watercolored texture to it. Like there was more shading applied to the panels, maybe more of a personal touch rather than just computer rendered colors. Now, it could just be me, I don't know, but maybe since this is a deluxe package, you also get a slightly more premium and upgraded book production. Could be, right? Anyway, Randor mentions that they don't have anything to worry about as they have Clamchamp personally overseeing their security. He says here, "Fear not, my queen. We have guards personally selected by Captain Tila, including Clamchamp." Now, one of the things that I did point out in one of the previous mini-comic reviews is that the placement of dialogue balloons and caption bars in some of the mini-comics seems to be frequently on the wrong side of how the story would naturally progress. In this case, we have Randor announcing Clamchamp's presence for the first time, okay? And then you also see Clamchamp speaking for the first time. But the caption bar mentioning Clamchamp's name should be on the left of the page here, and the dialogue balloon where we first see Clamchamp talking should be on the lower right hand of the page. At least that's how your eyes would read the story. Anyway, it's not like it's a huge deal breaker or anything like that, but if you are a regular comic book reader, you would notice stuff like this. Okay, so as expected, the convoy runs straight into a merciless ambush. Now, I like how the ambush is set up here. You see these hover robots turning up one by one in front of the convoy, and they actually devote 3 whole panels into setting this thing up, okay? Very generous, but careful guys, you are going to need the page space later. Back at the palace, and once again you see the caption bar announcing the change in scenery, and the mention of the royal palace is at the bottom of the panel instead of at the top, but whatever. Anyway, He-Man is about to spring into action to save the day, but not before Man-at-Arms conveniently hands him the new battle armor suit. And so we find out that Man-at-Arms is the one that's actually put this armor together for him. Back again at the ambush, and we find the Eternian guards led by Clamchamp are being ferociously attacked and outnumbered. Now, I was seriously disappointed to see how easily Clamchamp gets taken down. You even have him screaming "No!" as he's being pulled down by the robots. Like, what? Is this the correct portrayal for a character that is built up as such a supreme hand-to-hand combatant? You don't even see his capture claw or clamp in action. Now this is some bullshit, man. But then we get a moment of comic relief because Ram Man suddenly turns up out of nowhere. And then he has this really cheesy line where he goes, "Never fear, Ram Man's here." And you laugh because you expect him to say something silly like that. And then you see him just like running and barreling through all the robots, smashing them up in a row. And then he slams his head into something super hard and goes, "Ouch!" You know, it's like, honestly, if he's running straight into things by aiming with the top of his head and his eyes are facing downward, how's he going to see what's in front of him? Okay, it's like they want you to know how clumsy and dumb he is. Anyway, it looks like the rock solid and immovable object that he just ran into was Skeletor. And Skeletor addresses him by saying, "You smash your full head against my indestructible battle armor, forged in the fires of Snake Mountain itself." Now, at this point, I had two reactions. Firstly, I laughed out loud because a character in the book had referred to Ram Man as a fool. And I just knew that they were definitely finding a way to to work that scene in there somehow. And secondly, Skeletor saying that his battle armor suit was forged in the fires of Snake Mountain. I was like, whoa, that's some straight up Lord of the Rings type shit. Like when it was said that Sauron had forged the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom, okay? That was like the last time that I ever heard that anything was forged within the fires of anything, okay? Yeah, so this was kind of nostalgic. The attack now becomes even more intensified with Skeletor tearing into the transport vehicle carrying the king and queen. But then, He-Man turns up just in the nick of time to save the day. Now I love this shot here of Battle Cat and He-Man in battle-ready mode. Skeletor then faces He-Man and says, "He-Man, you dare challenge me?" This line of dialogue struck me as a bit out of place. I mean, He-Man and Skeletor must have fought each other literally hundreds of times up to this point. He-Man must have won practically every time. Why would he not dare to challenge Skeletor? Anyway, the build-up to the main battle between He-Man and Skeletor has been pretty good so far, but we're left with only one page for the battle to be depicted. Okay, I mean, the comic is only 6 pages long. As such, they kind of cram a lot of random scenes here of the two of them going at it, just wordless scenes of combat with no tension, no drama, or dialogue, and before you know it, Skeletor is just defeated. The very last panel even has him pleading, "Mercy, He-Man, please!" And that's it, the book just stops cold, abruptly. Now, why did they make Skeletor go out like such a wuss? I mean, this ain't the 80s cartoons anymore. You can't have him seen as being defeated with some dignity. Now, I know I can't expect much from a pack-in comic like this, but there really is a lot of quality on display here. There's solid arts and colors, a good premise, a lot of quality to just have it fizzle out just like that at the end. Also, does this mean that He-Man's armor, which was crafted by human hands, is stronger than Skeletor's armor, which was literally forged in the fires of Snake Mountain? I guess so. Anyway, guys, that's the review. I hope you enjoyed it. Now do leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you want to see more, okay? Leave me a request and I'll see if I can get it done. And as always, thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you guys again real soon.